I'm here to let you know that Wonder Woman is no perfect movie. So Wonder Woman tells the origins of Diana, Princess of Themyscira, played by Gal Gadot. In 1918, a pilot and spy named Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine, crash lands on Themyscira and tells her about World War I. And she decides to leave home and help him infiltrate the German forces and help put an end to the war. Gal Gadot gives such a good performance as Wonder Woman. What sets her apart from her character in Batman v Superman is that here, because she spent most of her life on Themyscira, which is a lot more isolated and peaceful than the rest of the world, she's more emotionally swayed by her desire to help the less fortunate, that she's easily angered and offended when confronted with the harsh realities of war. When she sees a soldier lying on the ground, mortally wounded, or she sees a family in pain because of the fact that their homes have been destroyed, her first instincts are to help whoever she comes across first, and she needs to be reminded that in order to end all this suffering in the first place, they need to advance the front lines and defeat the Germans who are causing all this pain in the first place. But at the same time, she's just as physically and intellectually strong as we would expect from her. Her strength does instantly impress fellow soldiers that she comes across, and her knowledge of different languages actually does help Steve report back to his superiors on the information that he received. And Chris Pine was also really good as Steve Trevor. In most Fish Out of Water stories, the one who has to lead the main character around usually has to be very patient with her lack of understanding of the world, and while it is played for laughs, and not gonna lie, it gets a couple decent jokes here and there, it's her belief that killing this one certain character could literally end all war as we know it, and even though he clearly doesn't believe it, when we see the stuff that he's seen through his own eyes, how certain people are tested on with these secret chemical weapons developed by the Germans, you can tell that there's a part of him that really wants to believe that killing just one person, defeating them, could literally end all war as we know it. He knows that's not possible, but there is a part of him that wishes it were. For the most part, Patty Jenkins directs the action sequences in a really exciting way. There are a few too many close-up cuts in some sequences, and the use of slow motion sometimes feels more like it was directed by Zack Snyder than it was by Patty Jenkins. But at the same time, these slow-mo shots do build up each punch or kick that Wonder Woman makes. You can still see the choreography and the actors performing it, and it is really refreshing to see one woman go up against an entire army of men in a war movie, let alone a World War I movie. In fact, Jenkins actually does do a pretty good job at creating a World War I atmosphere for the sets, the costume design, as well as the brownish color palette that this movie has. The first half of the movie felt a little too slow in its pacing, and I felt like there were a couple scenes near the beginning that could have been rearranged or trimmed down, and here's what I mean by this. There's this one exposition scene that's visually told as if it were a living, moving painting that explains the origins of the Amazonians that I felt could have been used as the opening scene in order to get the audience fully immersed in Amazonian mythology and Themyscira. But instead, it starts off in the present with Diana looking back on her past, which I felt that scene could have been saved until the very end of the movie just for dramatic effect. And I also didn't care much for the villains in this movie, this man and woman who are part of the German army who are working together. For one of the things we know most about them is that they're German, which, it's a World War I movie, of course they're going to be the villains. The main guy in this movie, the most we know about him is that he's this really ruthless general who is willing to shoot his own fellow soldiers for complaining about the conditions, which made no sense to me because his superiors complained to him about the exact same thing. So, like, what the fuck was the point of that? And the main female villain in this movie, the most memorable thing about her is that she has this face mask covering a damaged part of her face, kind of like Richard Harrow in Boardwalk Empire. But that's really about it. And there are a couple of moments where these two act so over the top that I actually laughed a couple times as opposed to fearing them. Like, they laughed too hard, their expressions were way too wide, kind of like this. And I just couldn't take it I couldn't take it seriously. Wonder Woman features a great performance by Gal Gadot as a physically and emotionally strong superheroine, Chris Pine doing good work as usual, and some entertaining battle sequences that make up for some uneven pacing and some less than stellar villains. And for that reason, I'm going to give Wonder Woman a 3.5 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out my other reviews at NoPerfectMovie.com. And once again, thank you all very much for watching. Take care.